Hey Lan, hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use him pronouns. Don't know if I've ever worn this cap and this shirt together. They're both from Attack on Titan. I recently watched the last episode of Attack on Titan, really good. If you don't know what Attack on Titan is, it's an anime and I highly recommend you watch it because it's very, very good. Today's video, I want to make another meme video, and today's meme video is going to be mental health memes too, because I've made a mental health memes video in the past, and this is the second mental health memes video that I want to make. And I'm just going to look at memes and talk about it based on my experience and share my perspectives on the meme as Lev. Yeah. I have the memes on my phone, which I will be using as a reference point, and I will also put the meme here for us to review together. The first meme, it says, my anxiety calling my other mental illnesses over so they can ruin my day and watch some... My anxiety calling my other mental illnesses over so they can ruin my day and watch me suffer together. And the picture says, everyone come and sit down, this is going to be so fun. Yes, I used to experience major depression and really bad social anxiety together. So it's called, in mental health, it's called comorbidity, which is like experiencing two or more mental health concerns or conditions simultaneously. And yes, my anxiety was like drag depression in. So I experienced like a really bad depression anxiety loop. The depression side of it was I'm worthless, everything is bleak, had a lot of dark thoughts, were very sad, like I'm worthless, there's no point living. I can't even think of examples now in my current headspace. It's really hard to think of what the thoughts I had back then. But it's very, very much self-depreciating thoughts, very negative, where I beat myself down a lot mentally. And then social anxiety was like, you're an idiot, why did you do that? Now everyone hates you. Social anxiety was like a lot of self-depreciating thoughts about me in social context, about what I did and what I didn't do. So either way, for me, in terms of social anxiety, I never won either way, because whether I did something or whether I didn't do something, my anxiety will just latch onto it and attack me. It's like, why didn't you do this? Or why did you do this? You look like an idiot, why didn't you do this? Now people think you're rude. I could not win either way with social anxiety. So it was just like a group party with depression and anxiety being like, woo! And then it was like non-stop. So relate to this meme. It's like, experiencing one is already hard, but experiencing two or more at the same time just makes it so much worse. So mental illness party. The second meme, it says, there's the car one with the swerving. The top, it says either going to a therapist or saying it is what it is. And most men, the picture's swerving towards most men saying it is what it is. Mental health, in general, I feel like we've gotten a lot better at like building understanding and awareness about it and saying it's okay to talk about it. But it still remains quite heavily stigmatized, I feel like, amongst men. And for me, it's very interesting because I was assigned female at birth. I lived as a woman for most of my life. And I started transitioning 4 years ago. So now I live as a guy. And I've seen both sides of it. I've lived as both genders, and I've lived experience from both sides. But for me, because I've always been that way, I don't know if that's whether it's because I was assigned female at birth and lived as a woman before I realized I was trans, or whether it's just been me the whole time, is I'm awful at like hiding things and hiding in my emotions. And actually, let me reword that. Once I started seeking help at the age of 17, I never looked back. And that was before I came out, and then when I was coming out, and as I was transitioning, and even now. It didn't change from when I was living as a girl and now living as a guy who's like a guy in my truth. But I don't know if that, I don't know if I was hypothetically born a guy, like assigned male at birth, a cisgender guy, I don't know if I'll have that same perspective or not. But in general, it's good to I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It's good to be normalizing mental health and speaking about mental health concerns, and it doesn't even have to be diagnosed mental health conditions, right? Just like mental health in general, be like, I'm not doing mentally okay, and speaking about it in a way that is like normal, for lack of better words, like physical health issues, and not see it as being so stigmatized, because it is happening in our minds and it's not something that we can objectively see, like a broken leg. We need to also like target that, like we need to like sort of somehow specifically normalize that for men as well, and not just being like, it's okay to talk about mental health in general, that's awesome, but also like targeting it towards the more stigmatized gender of men. Because my understanding is historically men are meant to be seen as very strong, hold the family together, you don't break down, you don't show emotions, you don't cry, men don't show emotions, men aren't vulnerable, men are steel, men are like solid robots, which is stupid, because regardless of our gender, we are all human. And humans cry, humans experience emotions, humans break down, humans have highs and lows. It's not just people of a certain gender. So it is okay for all the guys out there, from a guy, it's okay to cry. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I'm not doing so well. It's okay to seek support. It's okay to connect with others. You don't have to go at it alone. Just to add another point to the previous meme about it being harder for men to seek help, I think it starts all the way from societal conditioning. As in, young men and young boys, young children, especially boys, don't come out into the world and think, oh, I'm a boy. I'm a boy, I cannot cry, I cannot seek help, I can't talk about my feelings, or do things that in society are considered for girls. And then they grow up with that their whole life, and they believe that to be true as factual and the way that they should operate in the world. And then they carry that on to adolescence and adulthood, and then it just stays there. And then that's what seeking help is hard. That's what makes help seeking hard, because they've been taught to act and behave and operate in society a certain way. They're taught to be a certain way in society, and then when they experience feelings that they need to talk about, they suppress it, because it's like, I've been taught to not do that because that's for girls and I'm not a girl, therefore I shouldn't do that. And then suppression, and then that doesn't help, it just actually makes things worse. Prolonged suppression and keeping things under the rug and not talking about feelings and talking about challenges, and just bottles up in our heads. I think that's what needs to change, is the way kids are taught about mental health, and especially that regardless of gender, we're all human, we have emotions, we have feelings, we can talk about feelings, we can talk about emotions. Experiencing mental health it's okay, it's not something to be ashamed of, and it's something that's very real, and it's not fake, quote fake, because it's something that is intangible. It's something that's sort of intangible in the sense that we can't see it, like a broken leg or someone cutting themselves and bleeding, but it's very real. The third meme, the character on the left says, my mental illnesses, listing everything wrong with my life and explaining how all hope is lost. And the character on the right is just like me, who walked out 5 minutes ago. It's just like startled. And I definitely relate to this, because I explain a lot of things based on psychology, because that's how I like psychology. I'm a psych nerd, and also that's how I conceptualize things and understand where the roots of things come from. And if I understand where the roots of something comes from, then I can actually target the root and change it from inside out, and not just change the surface and put a bandage on something and I keep bleeding. It's like, if something is rubbish, I uproot the thing and I throw it away, then I plant a new seed. And that's what overcoming really bad depression, anxiety was like for me. It's uprooting the poison tree and throwing it out and planting new seeds that are more healthy. Back to the actual meme. Yes, when I was in a really bad state of my life mentally, my brain's wired in a certain way. It's like my brain has certain way of thinking, certain way of feeling, certain way of behaving and stuff. And my mind I wasn't in control of my mind. My depression, anxiety were in control of my mind. So when I just wake up and basically feel that throughout the whole day until I go to sleep again or attempt to sleep, it is just bombards me with all this negativity and all this very self-esteem destructive, not that I had any self-esteem, it prevented me from building self-esteem, very self-esteem destroying things that I believe were true about myself. And you may have heard the term neurons that wire together, fire together. And that is part of this picture. I'm not saying this is the whole picture, it's part of the picture of why we think a certain way, because my brain has been sort of conditioned to think negatively about myself and in a very bad light about myself, and then I keep doing that, and then the neuronal pathways in my brain get stronger. It's with anything, like the more we practice something, the better we get at it. The more that, it's the same with like, similar to how our brains work, where the more we think about it and the more it gets reinforced and strengthened, the more it's just gonna happen. And the more easily it happens, the stronger it gets. And that's why in that state of my life, in that time period, I could not escape the thoughts of depression and anxiety, because it was just tormenting me 24/7. Or when I was conscious and awake, that is. It's inescapable. And that's why when I wake up, in this meme, it says me who just woke up 5 minutes ago, it's like, just when I woke up, boom, all the thoughts start hitting me. It's inescapable. Until I rewire my brain. The fourth meme. We have 8 memes in total for this video. This next meme, it says, when you deal with being sad by listening to sad music, and it shows someone washing their car in the rain. So it's raining and they're washing the car in the rain. This is actually I actually find music quite therapeutic, and I actually do this a lot. Even now, I don't have severe depression anymore, but I do that. It's like, it's comforting just being in a sort of space, or I like using the word realm, being in a realm where I can just sit there and feel my emotions, because that's something I'm learning recently. It's really important to not always rationalize things, not being like, you experience this feeling, get rid of it. Or you experience this thought, get rid of it. It's just like, it needs space to exist to a degree. It needs space to exist to a degree, and then we can work on it. And just sitting with our feelings is also part of the work. It's something I realized recently from recent therapy, and recent I mean like literally last month, is important to sit with our feelings. Because I always try to rationalize everything and it doesn't always work in my favor. And I realize I have a tendency to escape just sitting with my emotions by rationalizing things and distracting myself with like hobbies and other things. And just sitting with the feelings is hard, but it's something I'm learning to do, and I realize it's really important to give space to the feelings. And we can do that by just sitting with our feelings, or we can do that by listening to music that fits our mood, like listening to sad music when we're feeling sad. And there are songs out there that are quite powerful in terms of sort of giving us comfort in terms of when we're not doing so well mentally. I have songs like I have a list of songs for when I'm feeling sad, and I really like listening to Bring Me the Horizon. I like the song Strangers, there's a song called Lost, there's a song called Dark Side, there's a song called Avalanche. I really like Jet Black Heart by 5 Seconds of Summer as well. Like I have go-to songs for when I'm feeling sad. And I just sit there and listen to the song and allow myself to feel sad while subconsciously being comforted by music that is addressing like similar experiences of not doing so well. I think this is the 5th meme. It says, the caption on top says, when my friends try to make me feel better, but I just want to complain. And the character in the meme says, guys, please let me hate myself and everything that I have created. I agree with this meme to an extent. Sometimes when someone we care about is in a dark place, or when someone we know is not doing so well, and there is a tendency to be like, you can do it, everything will be okay, don't think about these things, everything will be okay. But I mean, those things are good, but I think it's important to be mindful of context, because sometimes when people are in a dark place, the last thing they want to hear, and I relate to this too, is the last thing they want to hear is everything's gonna be okay. When my world feels like it's coming down and I hear everything's gonna be okay, sometimes it annoys me more, because I'm like, I'm in a really dark place here, how can everything be okay? So using the very positive affirmations, it depends on time and context. There is a place for it. I'm not saying it's not helpful at all. There's definitely a time and place for it. And it also depends on the person themselves and how well you know the person and all that stuff. But something I do is, when someone's in a dark place, sometimes it can be very helpful to just exist with them in the space. Like, we don't have to try and get rid of the hate or the darkness. We just be like, you're sitting in darkness, I'll sit in darkness next to you. So we sit in darkness together. You're not sitting in this darkness alone. And that itself can be very powerful. We don't necessarily have to say anything. If you're like, for example, when we're with this person in person, we don't necessarily have to say anything. We can just be like, you're in a dark place, I'm gonna sit here with you. And you sit with them in the collective sadness and darkness together. It's very humanizing. It's like, and another thing to be sort of mindful is when someone's in a dark place, their minds can be already overloaded, and their minds might not be able to take in so much information because they're already overloaded from whatever's going on in their head and in their life. And we try to bombard them with extra like input of info, be like, everything's okay, etc. It can actually sometimes have the opposite effect, in that they might feel like what they're experiencing isn't valid and that they should try and like push it away, because it's just important to allow the thing to exist. And complaining is also, venting is also, can be quite cathartic, because that can get stuff off their chest. And if we listen to people complain, or like, I don't like the word complain so much, we hear people talk about their struggles, right? Sometimes we can hear themes that come out of it. It's like, if someone keeps repeating something over and over again, or they're saying the same thing in different ways, then we can identify themes of what's going on and be like, this is what's going on. And we can identify themes of what's going on. And maybe we can help them process what's going on by asking them some reflective questions after they've let it out. Because I think catharsis, which is like letting out tense emotions and thoughts when someone may have been bottling up for way too long, letting it all out and letting it like it's called catharsis, can be quite helpful. So it's not a bad thing inherently, but it's also, if we sort of use that too much and just go on and on and on about something, and we don't actually do anything to address it, then that's also counterproductive. So like, all of these are like news within reason, because say someone just keeps venting about things but actually doesn't take action, then it doesn't actually change their situation or improve it, which doesn't help. Next meme. This is like the third last meme. The caption says, "Go opens up about identity and self-esteem. Opens up about identity and self-esteem issues on social media, and then men are like, but you're so pretty though. It's like the button meme, or you can see it here with the button. It's like, but you're so pretty though, how can you be sad? It's just like, okay, I don't actually know where this idea came from, but the idea that attractive people, or yeah, attractive people don't experience mental health concerns and that their life is perfect. I have no idea where that idea came from. Maybe it's because theorizing, superficiality, people think that because someone looks attractive on the outside, that equates to perfection in life and perfection in their head, and that they have nothing going on because they are perceived to be attractive, therefore their life must be perfect and there's nothing going on. I think this is quite toxic. Like the association is toxic in of itself, but the association being reinforced makes it even more toxic and unhelpful, because that makes it harder for people to open up about their struggles and whatever's going on in their lives, because they might not be taken seriously. For example, in this meme, someone tries to open up and then they're like, but you're so pretty though. It's just like, yeah, but like, that doesn't mean I don't experience any challenges in my life. I think for this meme, the thing we need to do is dissociate the idea of attractiveness and my life is perfect and I have nothing going on and I experience no hardship, whatever in life. We need to divorce the two ideas because it's actually very toxic. Divorce the ideas. They're not married, divorce them. Second last meme. I did one. Second last meme. Me. Man, I really wish I could open up and talk to someone about my mental state. Someone. Hey dude, you alright? Me. Yeah, I'm just a little tired. This is the button meme again. Admittedly, I do this a lot. I used to do this a lot, and I often do this with people I don't know, and I think a lot of us, I think almost all of us has done this. Few reasons why I think we do this. Firstly, we may not feel comfortable being vulnerable and opening up about our experiences to whether people we know or people we don't know. We might not be in the right headspace to sort of emotional offload to someone. We might not know if someone's okay with us being vulnerable and talking about this. It might throw people off, being like, yeah, if someone asks us if we're okay and we're like, actually my life's pretty shit right now, there's XYZ going on, they might be like, whoa. So that's that reason that we might not be opening up when someone asks us. We might not know the person very well, or if we know them, we might not trust them enough to be vulnerable and open up, being like, actually I'm not doing too well. Another thing is we might be fearful of trauma dumping, which is like, I don't even know how to explain trauma dumping. Is when I don't know the literal definition of it. I'm very literal when it comes to things. So I'm like, I don't know how to explain it in a very literal way. But the way I conceptualize and try to explain trauma dumping is when we sort of offload our emotional struggles, like we offload our trauma and difficult emotional experiences onto someone. And it can be quite a heavy sort of load, and we offload and we offload and we offload. And we dump our trauma load onto someone else who may or may not be ready to receive that load. Yeah, trauma dumping. I always try to think of ways we can like sort of collectively do better in society when it comes to mental health. Is just, I think the starting point is like when someone asks us, how are we doing? Or are we okay? We don't have to tell people our life story or trauma dump, but we can start, I guess the starting point is to be like, no, I'm actually not doing too well. We don't have to follow up with our entire life story. We don't have to tell the person every single thing about us or every single thing that's going on. You can start with, no, I'm not doing too well. So people like just like that already sort of humanizes it and being like, so they know that we're not doing okay, and they can be a bit mindful of that. Say, whether we talk to someone at an event or in our friend group or something, they know that something's going on and they can be there for us if we need, and they know something's going on, so they can actually support us when we're like not doing too well. But yeah, it's hard to do. And I'm very guilty of doing the I'm a little tired thing when I'm internally being like, wow, life is hopeless. I have no friends. Everyone hates me. But I'm like, yeah, I'm just a bit tired. I'm alright. I'm guilty of doing this, but I'm a lot better at telling people I'm not doing okay now. When I'm doing well, I'm like, I'm excellent. I'm very good. My way of saying that I'm not doing too well is I'm alive. That's like the people in my life who know me well. When I say I'm alive, they know that I'm not doing too well, but I'm here. Just like another way might be to find different ways of saying things. Like we don't necessarily have to say, look, I'm not doing okay. We can maybe find different ways of expressing that we're not doing okay. Like for me, I say I'm alive. It's basically code for I'm not doing too well. And that might be something helpful for you. If you find saying I'm not doing okay hard, which like me, I say I'm alive. But make sure people know the code, because if you're like I'm alive, people are like, what are you trying to say? So yeah, I say I'm alive when I'm not doing well. And people know that I'm not doing well. People in my life that know me, so. All right, the last meme. We're ending on a positive note here. And the caption says, when you're making small life changes and your depression is trying to downplay the positives. And the character, I think from The Incredibles, correct me if I'm wrong, is saying progress is progress. And I absolutely agree with this meme. Oh, I'm looking down here because my phone, the meme's here, but you can look here. Absolutely, like, again with the links back to the neural circuitry and the way our brains are wired to think. Because of our normal way of thinking and seeing the world and seeing ourselves is in a very negative light, very self-depreciating light, and very much mentally bashing ourselves light, then it's very hard to convince our brains otherwise, because it's very stuck in this cycle of seeing ourselves in a certain light. So it's very hard to think of like some positive input is and then the positive input is very, say, weak compared to the very strong cycle that has been developed over here and has been going on for a long time. And we try to import some positive things or something that challenges the way that we see ourselves. It's like, no, fuck off. Basically, it's like a pest. Depression sees it as a pest. It's like, fuck off. And then, but the more we do it, the more it will actually keep breaking it down. It's like, it chips away at the depression. It doesn't break it down like a wrecking ball in one go, bang, bang, break all the walls. It chips it away. That's how I see this progress. It chips it away. It chips it away slowly. And as it continues chipping it away for weeks, months, and years, the damage starts being seen from the bigger picture over time. All those moments of chipping it away, it starts to be noticeable. And then eventually, with enough chipping, the wall comes down. That's how progress is. We don't do it with a wrecking ball. It's chipping it away every time we try to make positive life changes when fighting mental health illnesses. And the same concept for me applied when I was trying to challenge my self-esteem. So even 6 months ago, my self-esteem was very bad. And when I tried to build my self-esteem up, my brain's like, it's like, what are you doing? And then I didn't believe what I was writing. So I was writing stuff I like about myself. I was writing down stuff I like about myself every day, and that was part of my mental health therapy homework. And honestly, I didn't believe what I wrote. I'm like, I'm writing this right, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm just writing it, but I don't believe it. But over time, as I continued doing it, I started to believe it over time. At first, I didn't believe it, but then as I started doing it over weeks and then months, I started believing it. And now, my progress with that is, I'm not saying it's like I believe all the positive things, but I'm neutral. I got from, I didn't believe in myself and deflect all the praise people give me, to I'm neutral. And that's definitely progress. I didn't jump from negative to positive right away, but now I'm at a neutral level. I'm like, I don't hate myself, but I don't my self-esteem could be better, but I don't hate myself. So I'm at a neutral level. So trust me, as someone who has experienced severe depression and severe social anxiety, it is very hard to break out of, but it is not impossible. Continue chipping away at it, trust me. Continue chipping it away, and don't sort of try not to. I know with depression it's really hard not to, but try not to devalue the work you're doing to improve yourself. And remember, even if you don't believe it at the time, keep working at it. Keep implementing changes. Keep trying to challenge the depression and anxiety. Keep challenging it, because again, over time, with time, the whole fucking thing of depression is gonna come crumbling down with all the little efforts of chipping away at it. Trust me. That's all for this video first. I think this video, from all the clips I've filmed, I'm pretty sure it's over 35 minutes. I can sort of gauge at how long I film videos for because I cut clips and I'm like, mathematically, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've gone over 35 minutes for this video. And I don't know how I do that every single time. A lot of time my videos get really long, but I guess I like long form content then. I'm all for making shorts. Yep. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful or enlightening or just enjoyable. Hopefully you took something out of this. If this video helps at least one person out there, I'm a happy guy. I've said that. Actually, I don't say that often, but I've said it a few times in my early videos as well. If it helps at least one person out there, I'm happy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Or you all rock on.